Here, okay. Here, all right. Item on the agenda to receive and carry to receive full disruptions. No, Crowther, O'Brien, and Gilbert. To accept those, please. Is there any interest in any of the matters to be considered?
Yeah, Chair. Yeah. Can everybody hear me all right? These microphones.
No.
So what's the shout?
Yeah.
Right, Chair. I'll declare a personal interest in. Just 1 second when I work out what they are. In the contracts with the cricket club.
Sorry, in what?
In the contracts with the cricket club.
What number?
Number 19.
I can't hear
There's
you.
another one as well. It's not going to work. Right, sorry. I declare a personal interest in item 18 and item 19. Is the contractor thing on here, Michael? On this one? Right, and number 13.
To identify items to which the present public may be excluded or will come from any significant. Number 4, to confirm the minutes of the meeting held on Wednesday, 4th February.
Can you use the microphone and not mumble, please?
Pardon?
Can you use the microphone and not mumble, please?
I'm using the microphone, it's here, up to the chin.
Well, when you're mumbling, we can't see you properly.
Can you hear now?
That's better.
Right.
All clear.
Yeah. Childish.
Right. Meeting so far, one page. Anybody got any comments?
No.
Okay. We'll propose these. Second. All those in favour, please say. Sure. Thank you. To approve payments. Number 5. Yeah. All those in favour?
Right, Chair, can I have a quick...
Yeah.
Sorry. I was asking.
Yeah.
The external ashtray, is that right here? Has it been broken or something? Or haven't we not had one?
Right, on the item, second one up, supply, fit, inspection, cover and make good. What was that for, please? Pardon? Is that to do with the drainage down the bottom here? The new drainage we've done? From one of those over there? That's all right then, okay.
I've got one, Chair. Stapleton's Lock and Safe repair to main gate, which is what we call the main gate. Yeah, not would have been cheaper for a new lock, or wasn't it? So that charge includes opening it up as well, right? Yeah, fair enough.
All those in favour, please stand and propose a second. All those in favour? To consider and approve the change of the bank mandate. Now, where have we got Yeah. Right. It's exactly the same as we did in the finance meeting beforehand, Bill. Just the wording appropriate for the charity. So,
Right. What we're talking about, because I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't allowed to sit at that finance meeting, so it doesn't matter if I was sat, but where's the paperwork?
The resolution is in the minutes of the finance, if you care to read.
No, this is not a finance meeting, this is a charity meeting. Where's the paperwork? If you've got items on the agenda, the paperwork should accompany it, should it not?
Yeah. Let's find it, I'll read it out. It was resolved that the bank mandate be amended to allow 2 people to sign orders for payment, currently 3, and that the senior administrator be added to the list of authorised signatories. It should be noted that financial regulations will still require the clerk and 2 councillors to sign orders of payment. And that was what we agreed in the financial orders, the same thing exactly for the charity.
So, just because you pass something in a finance meeting, doesn't preclude you from putting the same documentation in the charity. Let me have a word on this one. What you're asking us to do, if I understand correctly, is you're asking us to allow the senior administrator to sign cheques. Is that correct?
To be added to the list, yes.
Well, to sign cheques.
Yes.
Right. Will we have a situation, whether in theory or not, that a cheque can be signed by the clerk, the senior administrator and 1 councillor?
It says that the financial regulations still require the clerk and 2 councillors to sign.
Right. So why, if we need 2 councillors, and a clerk to sign, why does the senior administrator need to be put on?
Because that's what we designed.
This is to get us over the May election period. It's only a temporary measure as such. It's in case we don't know what any signatures are going to be, so it's just to cover that period, so texts and things can be signed. But good to Michael, I think we still get sight of what's been sent out anyway. It's not that it's been nothing changes. It's to get us over.
Right. We've never had to do this in the past around election times. I don't believe, and again I must say I've no objection to the senior administrator signing cheques, because I believe she would be honest enough, as it were. I don't think this is necessary, because if the excuse for putting the senior administrator on the list is due to a lack of councillors in the run-up to election, that negates it, because you said 2 councillors have got to sign it. So what's the reasoning and thinking behind the senior administrator signing cheques?
Well, if you haven't voted against it, do it, vote against it.
No, I've asked a question. What is the thinking behind putting the senior administrator on, when we still require the clerk and 2 councillors to sign?
Because it's convenient, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does he not revert back to what after the election?
Right.
It's got to this period, isn't it?
With all due respect, you've not answered my question again. I've asked the question is, why does the senior administrator need to be put on the list when current practice and future practice, according to you, is that the clerk and 2 councillors have still got to sign the paperwork?
Because we thought it was convenient.
Convenient for who? For what? For why?
Right, well, if the check has been signed and there's no council re-elected, then we haven't got a council.
Right. That's what I wanted you to say, because what I asked the question at the beginning: can the clerk and the administrator and 1 councillor sign? And you just told me that yes, they can, according to what you just said there.
Well,
Now I will object to that, because what that does then is that puts the employees in a risky position, because they are signing cheques 2 to 1 against councillors, and I don't believe that's proper scrutiny.
it should be noted that financial regulations still require the clerk and 2 councillors to sign the orders for payment.
Right, so I'll ask the question again. Why does the senior administrator need to be added to the list of signatories when you're telling me and everybody else sat here that the clerk and 2 councillors still have to sign the cheques?
Yeah.
The current system is with 2 councillors and the clerk sign, which is fine. And after the election, we don't know how many councillors or signatories will be elected or stand or whatever. So there could be a period of time where there are not enough councillors, if any, who will be able to sign cheques.
Right, well,
In that interim period, the 2 officers can sign the cheques, because that's what the mandate will say, but that will only be by resolution of the
Right.
council, because the council will have to suspend standing orders in order to allow that to happen. So the council will still control what is actually happening with the cheques. The cheques are still going to be approved, etc. But if there weren't enough signatories amongst the councillors, then the council could say, right, on this instance, we therefore authorise the 2 officers to sign the cheques, and business continues until such a time as the co-op can catch up with the new signatories.
right. As of the council, the charity, we're in the charity, I don't believe it's a safe practice to allow 2 members or 2 employees and 1 councillor to sign cheques. Right, let me finish. Just, no, it doesn't matter about time, we're here to discuss things, and this is quite an important thing, because it prevents fraud. Well, I can't win, I either shout down the microphone or I shout at it.
So I've got question about the noise here, why people who use that hall are going to change the night, because...
Well, just hang on a minute. We're going off the subject here, but if the noise in here is too loud, this council and this charity takes priority over the groups in this building. Now let me finish what I was going to say. When the election comes, there won't be a situation where there won't be any signatories to these documents. If we have an election, councillors will be elected, and then if there's no councillors for signatures, you, Chair, if you deem it reasonable, you have to call an extraordinary meeting, sign councillors in, and then appoint, or as a council or a charity, appoint people to sign cheques. Well, if it takes 6 weeks, it takes 6 weeks. You have to call an EGM. Right. Well, I for one, right, let me just finish, because people got their hands up. Let me just finish off. Right. I don't believe that allowing 2 employees...
Can you please be quiet at the back?
Right, I cast no aspersions on the employees at all, but I don't believe it's safe practice to allow 2 employees and 1 councillor to sign a cheque. I will be voting against it.
Can I move the vote be put? I will vote in favour. I've heard what the councillor has said repeatedly, and I still believe that in defending the interests of people who work for the council and do work for the council and the charity, that it's right that they should be paid as soon as it's possible. So I will support this change.
Can I just... I know, is there still a legal requirement for councillors to sign it? I didn't think there was. So it's not nationally, you don't have to do it. You don't have to have checks, I don't think either, do you? So we're actually beefing up what is nationally accepted, aren't we? By having 2 employees to the councillor.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, right. We're proposing a second to that. Anybody else want to make a comment? Sure, you've had yourself.
It doesn't matter if I'd my say or not. Once the proposal's on the table, it goes round the table again for discussion. Right, if we're going to start playing games, John, we can all do that. Right. No, you see what it is, Chair? We're here to discuss things. We're not here to brush things under the table. Right. I've just heard a comment that it's now not a legal requirement for councillors to sign cheques. Is that true? No, not whether you're concerned or not, Chair. Is it true, and you can ask the clerk, he's the legal officer, that councillors do not have to sign cheques? It's a legal requirement and it's now removed. Right. The reason I've asked for that is because my argument about 2 councillors signing cheques, well, obviously that's now irrelevant if that's the law. But I will still be voting against it.
Right, we're going to second it. Everybody want to put an amendment?
Yeah, I'll second it. We've passed it.
All in favour, please show.
Of what, Chair?
The
I seconded it.
mandate is approved.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
To question. There's a sort of light looking at the back and it's upsetting the people.
Something like strobing.
Strawberry, that one. Okay. Payment in kind to cover employment costs for March 2015 is £3,668.
3,000, sorry.
£3,668.49. All those in favour?
Agreed.
To approve the accounts for January,
what he's just said, payment in kind.
including the overdue accounts to go for publishing on the Vice Council website. Right, that's CH8.
Which one are we looking at, Chair?
That one, is it?
Move that, Chair.
No second, please.
Yeah, what's that?
No one second. All in favour? To discuss the management accounts.
Which one are we looking at again, Chair?
Here's 9.
Do that one? Receipts?
Let's go on the break. We're going out to see, put paper aside.
Which one are we on? We're on this one. Well, how can we do all four when we have a chance to speak on them? Right, well, how can we do all four when nobody's had a chance to speak on them? We normally go through page by page, do we not? Right, can I
Let's
speak?
start with CH8. Right, the Vice Council recreation account. Accounts, have you got that one?
Yeah.
Right, any problems with that? Second page then. This is the receipt schedule.
Right, could I speak on that, please?
You can indeed.
Right. I just want to ask some general questions on this.
Yeah.
This is the most ever receipts I've ever seen on one sheet we've been put in front of us. Is there a reason why we've had so many receipts in January, or is this what just happens? Sorry, I didn't hear. What new system?
The new system has been tested, we've been trying to get money in, and that's what we've got, so.
So, as a result of our action, are we now debt-free? Can't get no answers, can I?
Chair.
If you read the
Chair.
appendices to it, item 10 is to consider, to receive the report of debtors. It's not yet ready.
Listen, when we discuss things around this table, when you put documents in front of us, we have a right as councillors to ask questions on the documents you put.
Yeah, okay.
Now, if you can't answer the question, just say, I don't know, I can't answer it, and then we can move on to the next one. Easy as that.
Debtors are on the agenda for number 10. So
I don't disagree with you.
John, I think your answer, or Michael's answer, is absolutely spot on. The fact is, we have got better systems in place, and I'll leave it at that. And I think,
Could you be quiet? You keep complaining about how the parish councils act, and you're not acting in a proper manner. Please don't talk when the council's trying to speak.
the fact is that the systems now are bringing in payment, far more regularly and swiftly than they were in the past, and I welcome that.
So can we accept these then, receipts?
Move that.
All in favour? Okay, so we'll move on to the next page then, which is the payment schedule. You've got that in front of you.
Can I come in again, please, Chair?
Indeed.
Right, I'd like to ask a query on 200610, that's the limestone around the kissing gates and grit car park. Now, I presume the grit the car park was during the snow we had recently. Right, can I ask a question is, why are we employing contractors to grit the car park when we have employees who are quite capable of doing it?
Yeah, that's the thing, that's we've got to get gritted for a start, and then it's spread, and that's it.
Well, the question is, why can't our workers, who probably can't do any work because of the weather conditions, why are our workers not gritting the car park?
It's just a weekend anyway, and that's how they don't work for weekend.
Right, so why have we got contractors working on weekend on council property? There's nobody uses the hall at a weekend, so why are we gritting at a weekend?
Chair.
Just finish when I finish speaking.
People hire
Well, did somebody hire the hall that weekend that required it to be gritted? Well, don't put it forward if you don't know what you're talking about, then, Chair.
Could I respectfully suggest that the councillor is being unnecessarily aggressive in his attitude to you?
I'm going to stand on the point of order.
Chair,
You need to stop speaking now, because I've
Chair, I can carry on speaking. I don't know quite why that councillor stood up. The fact is that we employ can we please stop the public trying to interfere?
point of order.
No, he didn't say point of order, he said point. Right, which point of order is it that he's raising?
Don't start pointing at me. Now, listen, I want to make something quite clear. Did we not have a discussion about the protocol of people standing on points of order?
You stood up.
Just let me finish, please. Now you're talking over me.
You didn't say anything.
Right. Now you're talking over me. Now you're talking over me.
I want to make a point of order. Please give us a point of order. What is it?
There's 2 points of order I'm going to make now. The first one is, when a member rises, everybody else has to stop speaking.
That's right.
We brought this up at the last meeting, I think it was, about Councillor St John continually talking over me whenever I stand on a point of order. He's just done it again, for probably the 3rd or 4th time in the meetings, and it's been on camera, and I've got the evidence. You, Chair, and now he's making derogatory noises. Now I'm asking you, Chair, now to do something. When the councillor says I'm being aggressive, I find that highly insulting, it's untrue, and you should be making comments about his behaviour. And if you're not going to be prepared...
Stuart, I think you've been aggressive.
Well, right, if you think I'm being aggressive, ask me to leave the meeting.
I'm not going to ask you to leave the meeting.
Right?
Continue.
You've now made an accusation, and I expect you to follow that up. Right? Because all you're doing is, you're chairing these meetings for your convenience. Now, if you're going to treat councillors separately and differently, you need to resign your position. Right. My point of order was, around this table, we have to treat members of the council, each other, with respect. When Councillor St John is making false allegations that are witnessed by members of the public that I'm being aggressive, I want you to take some action on that.
Look, if he believes that you've been
Chair.
aggressive, there's nothing you can do about it.
Absolutely. Chair, the first thing is that the member standing on a point of order, in our standing orders, must number or name the standing order they are raising. Secondly, I have every right, as every other member of this council has, to express a view. To make that an allegation, etc., is a nonsense.
Views like calling people Nazis and jackboots.
Here we go again, Chair.
See, it's different when you get interrupted, isn't it?
We know this, the rules do not apply to Councillor Thornton, and he is being aggressive.
All right, that's twice you've said I've been aggressive, and I expect you to take them comments back, and if you don't, you're going to the Standards Committee.
Okay.
Right, I haven't finished, Chair, on that payment schedule. Right, just excuse me, Chair.
Can I move it down?
I'm standing on another point of order, Chair. Right, we'll go through these, just a minute, we'll go through these documents, let me explain and you make a decision, that's how it works.
No, you have to declare the point of order.
Right, are you going to be permanently going against everything I do tonight? Because if you do, I'm going to call for your resignation.
That is not a point of order,
Right,
Chair.
Chair, will you ask this councillor to stop speaking over me when I'm speaking? That's the 3rd time he's done it tonight, and if you don't take any action, I'm going to call for your resignation.
Right, okay.
Right, my point is...
Resignation, please.
Right, the point is, we were discussing the payment schedule. I had something else to discuss, and I'd like to discuss it without pushing it under the table.
Who's pushing off?
You're pushing
I find
things-
that
you're-
is very offensive to me.
Oh, here we go. You might as well go sit
I
next to
find
him.
it very offensive. Would you mind
Right.
sitting down and be quiet?
Right, I'm asking a question. Can I ask the question
Yeah,
on the
ask the
payment
question.
schedule? Right.
Question.
It's time we started following proper protocol in this council, Chair.
Stuart, you should
Right.
ask those questions
All right.
when the payment comes up for approval. They've already...
Right, so now, just hang on a minute, just hang on a minute. So now we're changing the rules, because I'm asking awkward questions. You're now, I'm not shouting, there's a microphone that's like, and if you accuse me of shouting in the microphone again, I'll make a complaint against you, Clark. Right. I'm not bothered about what other people think. I'm here to discuss items of the council and the charity. Right, Chair, my second question is, at item 200617, sorry, the one above, 16, I will get it right. It's on about an asbestos survey that costs £420. The question I'm asking is, would it not be cheaper for us to look at removing the asbestos completely to save us a continuing cost?
Well, can I suggest to you, you put it on a agenda, because this is already been paid. It's already gone with payment, it's been approved.
Right.
So,
So you've got to answer my question again.
but I don't know what you want to say.
Well, I've asked you a question. You either know the answer or you don't. Would it not be cheaper for the council to remove the asbestos completely rather than keep paying continual payments?
Yeah, but put it on the agenda.
Right, so you've not answered my question.
I don't give opinions.
I think depending on where it is, it's probably far too expensive to actually remove it, because it's keep doing the survey, because at least we know where it is. If we start taking it out, it might be finishing with an enormous bill that we can't afford, and for everything else.
Can we be quiet, please?
Can I just ask you a question?
Because these are just to approve.
Well, it's just really quick, on 200615, it's the road machine cabin, is that? I think that's the staff cabin, is that like to have any effect on health and safety, the fact that, not saying it's got, like, battle the rats or something like that, so that's all right, that's fine.
Accounts overview.
Sorry, Chair, I thought we'd already agreed
No,
that.
we've gone through them individuals.
Well,
To stop
I can
any
move,
arguing.
I will move them en bloc.
Everyone second of that? All those in favour, please show. Management accounts, to discuss. Management accounts. Right, you got it in front of you? Any comments?
No.
I'd like to make a comment if I can, please, Chair. Right, just bear with me a second. We'll just confirm we're talking about this piece of paper. Right, okay, right. Bearing in mind that this is an account that's for January, and obviously with several months in front now, on the bottom it says that the charity, according to January's accounts, is heading for a £2,040 surplus. Yeah? Right. Can I ask a question is, if at the end of the financial year the charity has a surplus, what will happen to that surplus?
Well, we're trying to make sure there is a surplus, because it means in March you won't have to ask for any money, will we? It just stays in the account.
Which account? It would stay in the charity account. And
Everything else.
right. Okay, no.
Okay. Right, can we approve those, please?
Agreed.
Number 10, to receive a report on debtors.
Oh. That was my name on that. Yeah.
It's on the charity bit at the
Must
top.
bring
Top
those
thing,
into
football,
respect
chased
to
up.
that allotment.
Alden Stonians, £442. That's been received today. Little Master Street, Old Place Street, naming scroll.
Can I just ask a question? When it says chasing, does that mean we're actively
Yes,
pursuing that?
yeah.
So it's in progress.
You see a copy of the now, which has been...
Right,
The third one down says that it should be paid within 14 days.
Can I just ask you, who's Nadine Swan? What's that for? Sorry. One number
well,
4 down, what's that one for?
It's just a whole hire, that's the reason it wasn't paid.
Should be blocked out.
Should be having a child.
Yeah, I saw that.
right, can I ask a question? Sorry, nobody else got a hand up. Councillor, why are we not allowed to name people? Right, but is it not a decision of this council whether we name people or not? Well, no, it's not a case at my peril. Well, if that's the way we want to play it. Because we've actually discussed debts quite openly in this council before, and we've named people, and we've named individual football teams, and we've named individual play schools. So why we need to start being all coy about names now, I don't know. Right, can I make a comment on the massive debt, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, the big debt? Now, I've calculated, and I wasn't a part of that decision, because I left the meeting and discussed, I've calculated that debt is going to take 20 years to repay. I think that's unacceptable.
That group did say that they would pay £20 a month at the minimum to start with. They would increase that with time, and they would do fundraising to pay off on sums.
Could you speak up, please? I'd like to know about this debt.
Chair. Chair, isn't it the case? I mean, it sounds as if I just want to be difficult, but I'm not. I can understand the concern about the size of that debt, but the council, and it didn't include me, my understanding is that a group of councillors met with that group of people, and that was the agreed outcome. So it's not the time and place now to raise that. It could be raised as a separate agenda item at the right time and in the right place. But that is what was agreed, and I think we've got to go along with it.
Right, can I just come back in, Chair, again? I mean, Councillor St John just said it, this is not the right
Chair,
place.
on a point of order,
Well,
it's item 51, can this particular councillor stop naming me as if I'm the only councillor? I clearly am not. I don't mind him objecting to what I say, but using my name on a continual basis is repetitive, tedious and unnecessary.
Right, can I just come back, Chair, because I don't understand that outburst, because I didn't say anything wrong or do anything wrong. Can I just say, Councillor St John has just said... Well, sorry, I can... Right, Councillor Jarvis, Councillor Bridges, Councillor Brindley, Councillor... What's the problem? I'm making a point of a statement Councillor St John just said. He said this is not the place to discuss this. Well, on the item, the agenda on the item, is to discuss debtors. That's what we're doing. My concern is not so much the size of the debt, because I've known that previously. My concern is, it's going to take 20 years to pay that debt off. And when we get, shall we say, a verbal promise that the money will be repaid if we get fundraising events in and stuff, I don't think that's acceptable. As a council, we have a right and a duty to the public to collect debts in a timely and seemly manner.
So, are you proposing that we stop the placeholder?
Well, my putting words into my mouth. I didn't say anything, I didn't make any suggestion or anything. You just put them words into my mouth.
Joyce?
Yeah, you're probably right. It's 20 years over £20 if they pay £20. But I was at that meeting and I understand that they were going to extend their hours so they could get more children in, which will make more income, and then they'll be able to pay more off the debt.
And they also want to charge for an after hours.
Yes.
Chair,
Yeah.
may I just interject here? If we're going to discuss this in depth, I propose that we move it into private session, confidential session. If we're going to discuss it in depth.
Second for that?
Speak up, please. We can't say
Is there a second for that?
Use the microphone.
Yeah, I'll say that. Can I just make a point? I think, if somebody just refresh your memory, how long is it since we had the meeting with the group? Is it a year?
Is it up to...
It's before they announced the competition to rename school.
Chair,
Because
I really think that...
It's just that we haven't, I thought we got a review.
This part is not confidential.
We have had a review.
That's
In
okay,
fact,
we
Councillor Thornton and myself will
Do for
send
another
that
one in
review.
6. I'm just trying to find, can you remember when that was?
The review was a matter of weeks ago.
Oh, right, I thought it was
And
before
Councillor Thornton
Christmas.
was extremely complimentary to that particular group.
It's just, I know we did say we would review on a 6-month basis.
I was the only one out of the two that asked probing questions.
Can we make progress,
Do
Jim?
you want to move on into confidential?
Judy, I'll take advice.
If we propose to discuss it further, then I think we should. If the conversation is
Presented.
done, then I'm happy with it as it is.
I think if we talk in general terms, and we're not naming individuals, because people don't seem to want to, I don't see why it should be confidential. Can I ask a question? And I think there's allotment holders that are refusing to pay, what action have we taken against them?
Nothing to do with what holders do it.
Hang on a minute. Is this a debtor sheet?
One for charity.
One's for charity, one's for the campus, it's a charity.
Chair, there is a...
All right, then, so, all right, so
council
now,
debtors.
now it's been pointed out, I can see it, but there's nothing on that piece of paper to distinguish what's charity and what's council. We can't mind read. We can't mind read.
You've got these documents for...
For how long? How long have we had these documents?
20 minutes.
We've had them for about half an hour.
They were 5 to 7 there on the
Charity
second.
debt. Can we move on then?
Yep.
Yes, please.
To consider and approve the scale of charges for 2015-2016.
Right, can I just come in on this one as well, Chair?
Yeah.
Right, can I ask a question? When we approved the budget and the precept, were the figures presented to us now included, or the new figures you're presenting to us now, were they included in the budget and the precept? Right, I'll ask the question again, because obviously people don't seem to understand it. Right, the question is, when we approved the budget and when we approved the precept, were the new figures that are being proposed here for charges for next year, were they included in the budget and were they included in the precept?
Well, I think that these refer to the charity, the discussion regarding the precept, regarding the...
Okay, and so we also passed and approved the budget and the the budget which included the budget for the council, the budget for the charity and the precept which includes both figures. So I'll ask the question a third time. When we approved the budget and the precept, were these new figures that are being presented as, were they included in the budget and the precept? The answer is yes or no, it's not hard. Excuse me, Councillor St John, will you stop interrupting me while I'm asking a question? Right. Right, so I'll ask the question a fourth time, because somebody's got the answer. When we approved the budget and we approved the precept, I think it was in January, were these new figures that were presented to us included in that budget? The answer is yes or no. It's simple. You approved the budget and you approved the precept. Right, can I ask that you ask the clerk, because the clerk sat next to
Can I
him.
have a turn to speak? The question may appear valid. My own memory is, I can't remember. But but at least that is straightforward. The other councillor had the same figures and sheets as everybody else. Those meetings were not allowed to happen normally because the third meeting, his behaviour was particularly bad and he broke up in disarray. Now my understanding, and I have been a councillor for a long time, is that whenever you set a budget, you effectively say to your clerk, give us a gross figure, and you are looking to increase fees and charges on a year's basis, so that it doesn't come suddenly like a 10% or 15% whack out of the blue. So, as far as I was concerned, in attempting to set the budget at 3 meetings, and then finally, was it a month ago or 2 months ago, was that it would be accepted by the members present that we had to increase charges. And I think that's enough. If we don't like it, we could vote against this. The clerk then might come back and say, well, if you do that, then the figures won't balance and the council will not have a balanced budget for the start of the municipal year. So I would support this, and suggest that we get on with it.
Right, sorry.
Like Councillor Thornton said, it's a simple yes or no answer, because it does affect the budget.
Right, can I come back in then, Chairman? Can I ask a question before it...
Think about the answer is either yes or no, and actually probably it's a both. When you're setting the budget, then you're taking an element of the price increase, but you're also taking a reflection of take-up of the whole usage. So therefore, the budget figure will not be simply a reflection of price increase or price reduction, but it also takes into account that we think that we'll have more whole bookings or fewer whole bookings. So therefore, the figure of the budget will reflect both those things.
Right, can I... Right, so now can I come back on the chair? Right, let me put it this way then. When we passed the budget and the precept, there is figures in the budget that relates to income, and the income relates to the old hall, the new hall, etc. Now, were the figures that were presented to us based on the new figures we have in front of us now, or were they based on the old figures? The clerk knows, so can I ask the chair through, right, right, well...
There's an element of increase in rates. You don't know what that increase will be
Right.
until it's approved now. So there was an element of increase and an element that reflects the whole usage. And that is the figure that was in the budget.
Right, let me tell you why I'm asking these questions. And I'm not getting an answer from anybody, which I find quite disturbing. We've approved a budget and we've approved a precept. We're now being asked to approve a rise in charges. I believe that these charges we've been asked to raise these charges after we've accepted the budget. These charges should have been presented to us either at a budget meeting or prior to us raising the budget and precept. I think what we're doing at this moment in time is wrong, because we've already raised the charges through the budget. So I think asking us to approve these figures when we've already raised the budget based on these figures, I think it's a bit of a farce.
Chair, can I don't agree with that statement. Every year we have set a budget. All right, we were slightly late doing it, and as I say, the meetings to actually talk about the budget were anything but smooth when these discussions could have been had. As far as I'm concerned, we set a budget. We're now being presented, and it's not unusual with the scale of fees and charges, and I would therefore move that this council accepts these suggestions.
Is there a second for that? Any amendments?
Can I have a recorded vote? Because I believe what we're doing at this moment in time is wrong. And because, another question I'd like to ask, because there has been a motion put, so we're out...
Sorry.
So will you stop interrupting me while I'm speaking, please? No, every time, no, listen what happens, Chair, you should know this. When a proposal's made, then it's seconded, it's then open once more for every councillor to discuss the issue if they wish. Can I ask you again, Chair, can you ask Councillor St John to stop talking over me every time I begin to speak? Right, my question's this. Why are we making a 3 and in one instance a 4% increase in charges when the rate of inflation is only 0.5%? No idea, but you're chair of the council, so you really should have, sorry, the chair of the charity, so you should have some idea of how these figures work. Just to say I've no idea, I'm sorry, but it's not an answer. Right, so I'll ask you then, Chair, why do you think these prices should go up at 3% when the rate of inflation is only 0.5?
Chair, with respect, the councillor is right, and I shouldn't have tried to if I interrupt his continual speeches, but we are in a debate. The debate is not the time necessary to ask you questions. He may rhetorically say, why are we doing this? But not to you. We all had the budget, whether we like... This chair, with respect, this continual rattle behind me is designed to bully me, to cow, to cow people into keeping their heads down and their gobs shut. And it won't work because normal people are sitting around this table trying to do their best. They are sitting around the table trying to do their best for the people.
Are you chairing this meeting, or going to let the councillor just carry on abusing members of the public?
Rattle is anything but democratic.
Chair, the councillor shouldn't be abusing members of the public. Chair, you need to get a grip.
It is correct in this occasion, you're being rather foolish and making a noise, and you're getting yourself subject to being turned out of the meeting if you're not there.
Chair, can I just say, he works both ways, and he's still talking now. Ask him to be quiet and stop abusing members of the public, please.
Chair, can I move the vote?
Members of the public shouldn't to be...
He's having a go at members of the public. You're supposed to be chairing this meeting. Well, stop him from verbally attacking the public.
Chair, can I just answer that point? Because this is typical. This is turning black into white. What I said was the effect of people continually interrupting in the background is to cause us to keep our heads down and our gobs shut. I wasn't saying that the public should do that. That is what... I've moved that the vote be put.
Chair, can I stand on a point of order? Can I just... Listen, I'm trying to move progress now. What we've got at the moment, we have a situation, rightly or wrongly, we have a situation where a member of the council, rightly or wrongly, is arguing and making comments directed at members of the public. You as chairman should stop that immediately. You are here to conduct these meetings in a fair manner. If the councillor has a problem with members of the public, he should refer them to you, and you should bring the item up at the next meeting. If you're going to just sit there,
I'm quite
Chair,
aware
and do
of what the
nothing,
chairman's duties are, and the chairman's duty is to make sure that each councillor gets a fair say.
Right.
And he said nothing to insult the public. He said, we keep our mouth shut.
right, listen, can I just go on again? Whether rightly or wrongly the public is right or wrong, what I'm saying is, you just sit there and allow it to happen, and that's not chairing the meeting. You need to get a grip of council
We've got to stop and
abusing members of the public.
Can I...
these charges.
Can I speak?
Yeah.
Sure, be mate. I think we've got to bear in mind that the clerk has got a difficult job here, and I know normally how he does it is that we check as to what other either parishes or authorities are charging for the similar sort of facilities, such as things like that. And it is difficult because I mean we're in competition with other areas in the vicinity, and we've got to decide, you know, what we think is a fair and reasonable level. And having looked at some of these, I mean, 3% sounds a lot, but in some instances we're talking, what, 25 pence or something like that, 50 pence, which is negligible really. I know we're supposed to be looking at level inflation, but I don't think that's a true and accurate guide of what we need to do. So I don't have a problem with these figures at all. I don't think they're exorbitant. And I say with the Bowling Green and Pavilion 4%, but I think that's neither here nor there. I don't think the Bowling Club, which I'll declare an interest at this moment in time because my wife's a member, but I don't think that's a sort of problem. And I'm sure looking at the football pitch, £39 a match, I'd like to think what the Borough Council
Clive, could I just ask you where are you getting those figures from?
Football pitch, £39 per match.
Oh, sorry, you're looking at a different sheet.
Yeah.
My mistake. Okay.
So, and that's a pound increase from this last year, and I don't think that's bad considering what the borough will charge for things like another parish council. So I think we've got to be a bit circumspect about this. We're not asking for large increases, only such a reasonable pence, and that's probably the nearest I think about £1 a match, which is really not. You know, it's half a pint of beer. It's not that, is it? At the end of the day, when you equate it to that. So I from these point of view, I don't have a problem with these figures. It's up to anybody else what they think.
Can I just ask for clarification? Under the Bowling Green and Pavilion, under the recreation ground, it says £1,200 per season Team A, £300 Team B. We don't have a Team B now, do we?
No.
Right, so should we... The upkeep of the bowling green is quite phenomenal, to be honest. It's a large chunk of our budget. So are we saying that last year the income from the both teams was 1,150? Are we saying now that Team A is only paying 1,200? And if so, that's a massive reduction. of income for the charity. Right. Last year, under the previous charge, it says 1,150. Are you on that one? Right. That figure is based on Team A and Team B. Team A paid 1,200 and Team B paid 300. Well, sorry, I didn't catch what you said. Right. This is what I'm clarifying. Just let me clarify. Right. So what we're saying last year, according to this paperwork we've been given, that Team A was paying 1,200 and Team B was paying 300. Now we know Team B doesn't exist. So are we now saying that we're charging Team A, are we charging them 1,200, which is a reduction in last year, or are we charging them 1,550? Right. Well, the reason I'm seeking clarification is because you've still got two teams down here, which one doesn't exist.
They have done 2 teams for 3 years. And you put it up from 1,150 to 1,200, so you're increasing it to the...
Right.
Right.
By the way, are you a member of the bowling club?
Chair, I've already moved we accept these charges.
Right.
I'm declared in my interest to which...
Right. But you didn't declare it till I've just mentioned it.
Yes, I'm really...
You didn't declare an interest until I've just mentioned it. You didn't declare it till I've just mentioned it. When you put your interests on your interest sheet, if you attend a meeting and you're a member of a club, you have to declare it at the meeting. You haven't declared it till I've just mentioned it.
Right. Can we vote?
Yep.
Can I ask what we're voting on? I've forgotten.
Four.
On the new...
Four.
The new...
Charge.
The new
Yeah.
scale and charge.
Councillor Bridges. 4.
Yeah, 4.
Councillor Brinsley,
4.
Councillor Dalton,
4.
Councillor Allen, Councillor Jarvis,
Because I haven't a clue, abstain.
Councillor Jetson,
4.
Councillor St John,
4.
Councillor Thornton,
Because we've already previously agreed these figures in the budget, I'm voting against it.
Councillor Wood.
Carried. So we'll move on. To discuss the use of the... consider approval and installation of the grinder on Skate Park. This is number 12. I think we've already got Yeah. This has previously been looked at by the parish council, subject to the territory. Yeah, because the parish council looked after the equipment.
Can I come in, Chair? Nobody else is going to speak? Right, this grinder, it's my understanding that it's been given free, and I think it's going to be installed free. Is that correct?
I think so, yes.
Right, so in a way it's going to be an advantage to us. I haven't got a problem with that at all. Is there any form of paperwork or process we have to follow to formally adopt this equipment?
The equipment will be managed through the parish council, the charity is in permission for it to put on its land.
And we've already agreed via parish council to take on that piece of equipment, okay?
Just that, I think we did ask for a assessment from the contractors, work statements and everything else, didn't we, insurances, so they provide all that information before the work started.
Yeah.
Can we agree this and welcome it?
Anybody propose that we approve this?
Yeah.
All those in favour?
Good.
To consider emails from Council Thornton 30, declare that particularly interested in this.
I move that we receive this, Chair.
I'll second that, Chair.
Can I just ask, Chair, who put this on the agenda? Right, so the clerk put it on the agenda. Can I ask, via the Chair, can I ask if any action was taken regarding my email?
I didn't take any action.
Right, so it's now confirmed that a councillor made a complaint about health and safety issues in relation to charity land. I sent this email, I copied it in both to the Chair and the clerk, and neither the Chair nor the clerk have taken any action. Is that true?
I've not taken any action.
And the clerk's just admitted he's not taken any action. All right, thank you, Chair.
standing orders number 55 and number 94. Number 55 says that before any matter relating to staff employed by the Aston Parish Council or its contractors to the charity, it will be discussed at the charity and it will first decide whether the press and public will be excluded. 94. No member of the charity or any working group will, in the name of or on behalf of the charity, inspect lands, premises of which the charity has a right or duty to inspect, or issue orders, instructions or directions, unless authorised to do so by the charity. So really, what we're saying to us is that you going up and contracting them and it's not really being approved by the charity anyway.
Right,
no,
we're not going to move on because this is quite...
Those standing orders have been read out.
To answer Stuart's email.
I don't think there's anything to do with the email. I can't see why they've been read out, to be honest. I don't think they've been transgressed. If someone sees something as part of the going about the daily business, whatever that may be, I think they have a duty. I mean, crikey, there's a law going through Parliament now that says there's a duty upon public servants to report to child sexual exploitation and things like that. I think as councillors we have a duty, if we see something, to report it. It's not a case of raising your hand and say, I, in the name of the charity, do declare I inspect this land. Quite frankly, I think it's ridiculous that it's been brought up.
Can I just come back in, Chair?
Chair,
So,
point of order.
look, he's interrupting me again when I'm trying to speak. Point of order, stand up, put your point of order.
One doesn't have to stand up. The fact is that Judy moved that we receive this and I seconded it.
Yeah.
And we need to vote on that.
Yeah.
If the council agrees to accept it, then we move on to the next item of business.
Hang on. We've received the...
He should speak, he's from Dillington.
We've received... We've received the email from Councillor Thornton, which we've received, but I'm more concerned about the standing orders, which I'm not happy with that, because to me, what's the definition of inspect? I mean, if I come down to this welfare to watch a football match and I see something that I don't consider to be right, am I supposed to turn a blind eye to it and say, I can't look at that, or I can't do whatever, because I'm not allowed to under these regulations because I'm a councillor? I mean, that means members of the public can do it, but we're precluded from actually carrying out the duties that we're elected to do. And I can't see that that's right. I mean, if you see something that's wrong or is dangerous, are you supposed to just ignore it and walk away? I mean, that's not how it works, is it? It can't be.
It's from the agenda to amend standing orders, that's all.
Well,
Necessary.
Can I just come back in? Right.
Crap.
Now, it's just been said that these standing orders here, 55 and 94. Well, first of all, 55 says, before any matter relating to staff employed by Anston Parish Council or contracts, etc., the charity will first decide whether the press and public will be excluded. We never made that decision, that's why we're talking about it. But secondly, the more important point, you mentioned that the reason 94 in there is on here. Are you implying that I was inspecting council land, and is that why this has been put on the agenda? No, I'm asking a straight question. Is this here because it's implying that I was inspecting council land?
No, it says it in answer to your email.
Right, so which part of my email then refers to inspecting land? Right, let me tell you what I'm going to do.
Chair,
Let me tell you what I'm going to do, because it's quite serious. See, he's talking over me again. He's talking over me again when I'm trying to speak. He has a very bad habit of doing that, and you're not doing nothing about it. Right, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I believe, because we've not discussed it, I believe, rightly or wrongly, that I saw a contractor working on charity land without the proper health and safety equipment. That's my belief. Whether it's right or wrong, that can be discussed later. I reported that to the clerk. I also emailed you, and you were fully aware of it. Neither of you have taken any action on what I class as quite a serious health and safety issue. I've been in front of this charity and the council on at least 3 different occasions complaining about contractors not carrying out health and safety procedures. My next step is I am going to seriously consider this week whether to go to the Health and Safety Executive and report what's happened. We have a duty to carry out health and safety on this charity.
The council has raised this issue several times, and each time we have said that the health and safety issues which he raises are not health and safety issues. If the council can actually determine which legislation is being breached or which code of practice is being breached, then obviously we can look into that. So to legally say that health and safety is being breached is quite wrong. High visibility jackets, as mentioned here, are not requirements. Safety helmets are also not requirements in the situation that we're in.
We can agree to disagree. I've said right or wrongly whether the contractor's doing something wrong or not is subject to probably some form of investigation, which is not being carried out. I've reported the incident, absolutely nothing's been done. I think we have a duty of account as a council and a charity, and therefore I think my next move is, because you refuse to obey it, I'll go to the health and safety.
Can I just, sorry.
I just want to reply to that. In fact, the council says that nothing has been done, which is blatantly wrong, because things have been done. The issue is that there is no breach. In my opinion, there is no breach. And therefore, if the council thinks there is a breach, you need to be specific as to what this breach is.
I asked you if you'd taken any action, both yourself and the chair, and both of you said no.
Well, we've discussed it.
Well, so you have taken action.
But that's not, I don't call it action.
I can't guess if there are meetings in secret.
Chair, on a point of order, we are discussing a contractual arrangement here, and I think that if we are going to continue to discuss it, we should move it into a confidential session.
I mean, I'm not discussing the contractual arrangements, I'm discussing the standing orders, and I think, depending on where we are in May, that these, when we look at the standing orders again, that we revisit this and see if we can maybe word it a bit better, because I think the 15 councillors on this council have a duty to report anything like that. It may be unfounded at the end of the day, but if they think that something is not being done right, and it's to the benefit of everybody concerned, contractors, council staff, etc., then I think I don't say necessarily go around looking for things, but if you're there and something strikes you as not being correct, I mean, Stephen can have a...
In a way, I agree with Clive, but I don't think anything needs altering. If you're not inspecting, if this all is in use by a group, right, and you came in and said, have a look, that's inspecting. If you are going about your daily business and you see something, that is your observations. This doesn't say you shall not make observations and report your observations. There is a difference.
Like not reporting.
Right? If it's a public place, which the recreation ground is a public place, the cemetery is a public place. Most of the land outside that this parish council owns are public places. If you are in a public place, you're making observations, you're not necessarily inspecting. And I think there is a difference, and I don't think that this is relevant.
I just want to say that I think that the contractors are experienced contractors, and I should think that they will know all about health and safety without somebody else having to tell them about it.
The last point I want to make is that I totally agree with Clive's comment that if we as councillors see something which we consider to be of concern, you would raise it. I'm also aware, rather like being a school governor, that you raise it with the right people. We are not directly employing the contractors. That's done by our clerk or by our responsible financial officers. But it's also in the way that you raise it. If one is aggressive with people, you will get probably an aggressive answer back. And it's in the way you treat people. If you swear, if children are misbehaving on our skate park, and I was daft enough to go up and use...
I've stood on the point of order, we're still talking over that. Right. Again, we have a comment from Councillor St John making reference to me being aggressive for an incident that he has no party to, unless he's spoken to the contractor since. He says, he's implying that I was aggressive.
But it's only a perception.
No, it's not a perception. He either has knowledge of what happened or he doesn't. And when he's making false accusations against me, we should withdraw them, because it's not becoming of councillor conduct.
Chair, can we have a bit of accuracy? Yet again, I said, if people would like to hear what they want to hear, I'm quite clear about this. I didn't witness the thing and I know nothing about it. But if I'm aggressive with children, I almost, I expect them to be aggressive back. It's how you do it.
Well, we've got a proposal and a second at Rex.
Can I just-
Yeah.
Now, so remember another 3 minutes.
Yeah,
We've
can
got
we?
a proposal
Yeah.
on the table, so I want to vote. Please vote in favour of this if you wish to. And
Vote.
Receive it.
To receive it.
To receive it.
Anyone else to receive it? Not to receive it, Jan.
Well, they make it as a visual element, I don't think anybody's made a proposal.
Yes, understand that.
But why did you look at me and say not to receive it? I didn't make any comment whatsoever.
Oh, wait, please do.
No, so what you're doing now is you're
Right,
picking on
move
me.
in progress.
You're picking on me and intimidating me.
Oh,
Well, why did you look at me? Why did you look at me and make a comment? And now you see you're being offensive.
Yeah.
Now you're making the wrong.
Can we just move on, John, please? I'd like to go home today.
I don't think it's up to chair.
To discuss the table and chairs by the Scouts, to discuss the use of the table and chairs by the Scouts.
Well, it's been a historical arrangement apparently where the Scouts hold the tables and chairs for their events.
I'm sorry, Chair. I
Can we
can't-
ask the public to be quiet, please?
Yeah.
It's been a historical arrangement for the Scouts to borrow tables and chairs from here. The next event that they wish to borrow for was Saturday the 7th of March, which I've already agreed to because of the short time scale between this meeting and the 7th of March. And all I want really is that the charity thinks that tables and chairs should be loaned out in that way for future reference.
Chair, I'm not sure whether I should declare an interest in this, as I have been invited to the event and possibly could end up eating off one of our tables. So I'll take no part in the decision.
On the basis that we've done this in the past, can I move that we carry on out as previous practice?
Can I
No, it's
just...
not seconded, it's a comment.
Everybody second that?
Sorry, what did you say, Clive?
No, I was going to say, I'm a bit concerned the fact that these, are we talking about these tables?
Well, I would assume it would go to...
Well, that's my point, that these have cost us a considerable amount of money, and I'm not minded to let anybody borrow these after this all. I don't mind the old tables. The chair's nothing to write home about anyway, but I'm concerned that we've spent the best part of nearly £2,000 on these tables, and I would be concerned if they were, are they being taken out of here
It's just
to
like
the
no.
scout? Yeah, it's just the fact that I say, I have no problem with the chairs, but I'm concerned that I wouldn't like, again, if we loan these out, I think we're in a position where we need to take a bond on it or something like that, because, you know, we can't keep replacing these ad infinitum. It's not feasible.
Just for clarification, do councillor don't make a personal interest there?
Yes.
That's all right, just for clarification.
Are we going to approve this subject to the old table?
I said I've got another comment.
Oh.
Right. I said before I asked the question, right, I didn't quite catch, are they taking the tables out of here?
Oh, the Scout Hut.
Right, and what will they be used for?
Just in the next,
Right, so no, I mean, I haven't got an objection, to be honest, I'm just trying to clarify things. Well, the other question I want to ask is, if the clerk's agreed it, why do we need to agree it?
Just in our chairs, our tables.
Well, if the clerk's already agreed it, why are we spending time
Just
discussing?
wanting you to rubber stamp what he said, because in short time,
This is the first time I've heard anything about it going on for quite a number of years.
first time over last
And therefore, I want to steer from the charities as to whether that is something that we should be allowing.
So what you're actually asking us is,
Are we in favour?
are we in favour of allowing the clerk to make the decision to lend the chairs to the scouts?
No, we're making we are going to say, are we allowing tables to go across there? No,
Just in general, we're going to...
Generally, we're allowed.
Could be other groups, possibly.
I suggest that this is just the old table, just
Bolton
the old.
provides, not the new.
Quite agreeable, provided they have the old chairs, not the new one. The old tables.
All of in favour of the tables, the old ones, just there, yeah.
There you go.
To discuss the need to carry out building valuation for insurance purposes and approve the course of action. What do you need on this?
Yeah, we do these valuations every 5 years. Normally we get the Edinburgh Council to do the valuations. It's really a matter of whether the valuation is done in order to make sure that the insurance level is correct, not too high, not too low. And whether you want the Edinburgh Council to do it or not.
Do RMBC charge us for that?
Yes.
are they competitive? I think that it would be a good idea to find out if they're competitive with other people in the private sector, and if they're not, then let's be having someone else.
Yeah, that's right. The proposal that you get, that the clerk will get some quotes against the Borough Council. Get the figures from the Borough Council, get the quote from other sources.
Do we have other sorry.
Well, I'm going to ask the question, Claire, is the other companies that do this sort of valuation?
We go elsewhere. Most insurance companies will organise that for us.
But if you go to an insurance company to do a valuation on a property reserve, I would imagine the insurance company will want to take out the insurance as well. That's not meant to do. Are there people who do valuation surveys separate to insurance companies?
We've had one for the lease, have we not, from Savills? So that's one already.
Can I just ask, is this how often do we do this? Every 5 years, so we're at the point now where we knew what it cost 5 years since, but obviously something else will be factored in, isn't it? So when we have this done, it'll be a 5-year period before it's done again. No, I support Stephen's suggestion that we go for at least 3 quotes, I think.
All those in favour of finding companies to make comparisons with? Consider the location of proposed gate park and approve the use of charity land for the purpose. Yeah.
Okay, you've got the request here, which is a joint request for the charity and to the council. It says here that they're asking for requesting to put the new skate park on the tennis court. It was my understanding or interpretation that the new skate park will actually be below the tennis court on the land that isn't yet developed. My reason behind that is the tennis court is of course the tarmac surface. We've got a new skate park further down, and the tarmac surface can then be put to other use, possibly a new build or after tennis court or whatever. But really that's just what I want the council charity to consider whether the location is, if you're on a location, then to give the reference to the skate park which to come on.
No.
Well, to be honest, I was always under the impression it was going on the tennis courts. I mean, I know when I was chairing the meeting, that's where it was provisionally planned to go. I don't think it's here or now. Can I just say about this document? I've looked at it quite carefully, and I can see what you're doing. I understand what you're doing. I don't think at the moment is the right time for the charity to get into this type of, should we say, agreement. Let me tell you why. You're asking us to promise, give a promise as a council, well it's actually a charity but it's here and there, that the skate park can use the land that was formerly the old tennis courts to build a new concrete skate park. The reason I don't think it's the right time to ask us that, and we give you an answer, is as a charity whose land it is, we haven't had, should we say, a formal discussion with the community group, nor have we been presented with any formal plans, and I think we really need to have that meeting where the community group representatives come to the charity on official level and explain what you're doing, and understand things are quite far forward. So that's one reason I don't think we should be doing this now. The next one is, just give me while I read my notes. Right, you're asking us that we will take a responsibility for the maintenance and upkeep of the park once it's completed. Again, I understand what you're saying, I understand what process you're trying to go through, but until we get further probably advanced down the system, we need to look at figures, because we can't as a charity say, oh yeah, we'll back that, and then we suddenly find out a silly figure, £1 million maintenance bill, we know that. So that's another reason why I think this document's a bit premature at the moment. And just a small one at the end, it says, by each councillor signing below. Well, as individual councillors, we can't sign documents on behalf of the charity and the council. It has to be a corporate body. The chairman signs on behalf of the councillors. I understand what you're doing. I think it's the right direction you're going in. I just think at this moment in time, this agreement is a bit premature.
Right, I totally disagree with that. The fact is, when I don't know what the date of it was, when I came, I know Clive was here, to your presentation to kids and to parents, I asked, informally probably, when are you going to make the bid? And I was told very clearly they wanted to make the bid in the spring. Now, unless they've got charity and parish support, that bid's not worth making. As far as I'm concerned, both these pieces of paper I'm happy with. Now, I understand, I thought about what the clerk had mentioned. It could be that we promise that they can use the land present that was formerly tennis courts, and possibly, as an addendum, the land to the south of it, which is just rough land. But that would cover everything. The second thing is, sorry Michael, the idea that we will take responsibility for the maintenance. I don't know, it must be 5 years ago, Rotherham Borough Council got a great chunk of, I don't know, £1 million for Play Pathfinder. We agreed, and they have put in Play Pathfinder equipment at Whitegates on the Lakeland Estate, there on the miners' welfare, and at Lockwood. And we have accepted that we are responsible for the maintenance. There's nothing different here. I don't want to stop this happening. I don't want to stop this happening, and I want this council, this charity, to be right behind the efforts to achieve a quality facility for the kids of Anston.
The only point I will make is that as a charity, we're only looking at point 1, which is we promised to put on. Points 2 and 3, and that's all.
All right.
Finance meeting, because they're to do with the council and the equipment and paying the meeting.
Judy.
Yes, Chair. The group have recognised a meeting with the charity itself would be an excellent idea, and would like to ask that the charity meet with them in a private meeting prior to the next parish council meeting. They recognise that some figures are required to do that, and I think if we could vote on section 1, and the reason that we want to do that is because the bids are in an advanced stage, and this support for the skate park committee will be required to go into the bids. So I think, as the clerk has indicated, if we could approve the promise of the land and the land adjacent to the tennis court, and then ask the charity to meet with the group immediately prior to the full parish council meeting, so that the group can explain to the charity in great detail about what the proposals look like, where they are, and what the maintenance is going to look like.
Yeah, can I say I was at a meeting on Monday, and we talked around this, and I suggested that, and Miles and Sandra were there, that we still need some more information on costs, particularly to do with the possible installation of floodlighting on the site, which they've considered is appropriate for where it's located and to give it more use during the year. But obviously with floodlighting there comes an additional cost that you don't get at any other play area that we've got. And I think, are you due to get some costs by the end of today? You've got them today. Yeah, but I still think what we discussed about, as Councillor Dolan said, I think that's that meeting where you've got in possession of more facts and you've got. I take what Councillor St John said on board, but when we took those others on, none of those have got floodlighting. It's a different ball game. We're in a different position financially now, or we will be in 3 years' time. We'll be £30,000 light from the Work Council grant, which is something we've got to factor in, because if we take that on board, and I know one of the group came with a rough figure for the cost of electricity, etc., which sounded a bit frightening at that point in time, but I think we need some more clarity on that, because that's something you're going to have to budget for every year in the future to make that skate park work, and also we were looking at the cost of electricity supplied to it, whether it could be easily put in or whether it's going to be an exorbitant cost, because a funder will not give you money for maintenance, but they'll give you the money to put everything in and install it, but after that the parish council picks up the tab. So that's why we decided on that course of action, that we need more information. It might be worthwhile just waiting that week and a bit. I know the work on the funding bid is probably underway now, but I think we need to just have more clarity for councillors to take that on board, and it might be that floodlighting is not an option at the end of the day, but we've got to try and bid for that and get that if we can, but then we've got to find some way of funding that every year, and it may be, if we get that as a facility which is permanent, we may have to lose other things that we do around the village to pay for that.
Stuart? Can I suggest, because I didn't know there was going to be another meeting, that's another thing that's just been thrown at us now, so I'm not aware there's another meeting on, or you're going to request a meeting.
I'm going to ask for it in the morning.
Sorry, Neil.
I'm going to ask for it in the morning.
Right, I'm going to propose that we defer this letter and request until the charity has had a meeting. Once we've had the meeting with is it the community group we're meeting with all of the council committee? The community group. Once we've had a meeting with the community group, you'll all be aware, again, it's the first I've heard of floodlights, to be honest, I mean, that probably just me missing on things. Once we've had a meeting with the community group, we can all make better informed choices. So I'm moving that we postpone this letter until after the meeting. Is that going to cause a serious problem? By deferring it until after the meeting?
Can I suggest at this stage we just approve in principle the use of the land?
Yes.
Then we've started.
I was just going to suggest that. I think if we approve that, then that's something that
can I have a proposal?
they've achieved, and we need to look at the wording of the two letters for signatures that we talked about. But
That's what I'd like to propose. I'd like to make a two-part proposal, Chair. I'd like to propose that we accept item 1 in relation to the use of the land, and that we agree as a charity to have a meeting before the Finance and Parish Council meeting on the 16th of March to hear the other proposals, so that the item that is before us can actually be then heard in the Parish Council meeting.
Well, Julie, can we deal with them one at once first? Can we first have somebody to propose that we give in principle permission for this to go ahead on the old tennis court or land adjacent?
I think
then you cover it.
I'll propose that.
Location to be
Judy's just proposed.
Oh, I'll second it.
You can have the proposal, because it was long-winded.
Okay.
The proposal is the group of promises land, location to be confirmed.
I don't think that's tight enough, because I said we can't promise land, because that's putting us into a verbal contract. If we agree, the charity agrees, could I suggest better wording? The charity agrees in principle that the skate park community group could use the old tennis courts for a proposed new skate park.
Or adjacent land. But that's what we said.
Well, we said promise, but that's effective.
So
In principle.
I'll support that. Could we move the vote?
Right.
It's been seconded by Steve.
Just we get the wording.
That the charity agree in principle to support Anston, what's your name? Anston Skate Park Committee to use the old tennis courts for the proposed new skate park.
Or adjacent land.
Or adjacent land. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. All those in favour, please show. Right, that's carried. And Julie, you want to request that we have a meeting?
Of the charity with the Skate Park Committee and the Skate Park Committee at 6:30.
Could we make it earlier? If we meet at 7, if we meet at 6, because our meetings, we start at 7 or 7.
Yeah, 7.
So could we make it 6 o'clock? I know it's difficult.
Can you get there, Miles?
I'll be there. I'll rely on public transport.
Well, if you're not there, there's no point having
Well, the rest of the team will take all up to date.
Okay.
Everyone can update.
Yeah.
so that they can present the
Yeah.
figures.
So do you agree to that?
Yeah.
What date's that, please? 1800?
16.
March the 16th, Monday.
March.
Is that the same as the council?
Yeah.
Sorry, Michael.
Right, item number 17, to receive the drainage report.
Chair, shall we just have a show of hands?
For the
Yeah.
meeting.
All those in favour? Yes, okay, right. 18, to discuss previous questions related to the joint access deed and approve of draft document. That's number 18.
17.
So 17 is, we've said that, we've accepted it. We've voted it, all voted it.
We have for drainage.
Oh,
Just receive it.
drainage report, do we accept that?
Just receive it.
Yes.
Well, not really, I'd like a...
No, I think we need to...
Well, I think we need to discuss that.
Yeah, but
I'm
we-
totally confused by this.
Yeah, fine, but we can just receive the report.
No, we need to discuss it to see what action we're going to take.
Because we're not making any
You can receive it, put it on another agenda, can't you?
Listen, Chair, there's no point paying a large amount of money to request a drainage report and then just put it onto another agenda. We need to discuss it. That's what we're here for as
Right,
councillors.
Right, carry on, Stuart, you've got the chair.
Well, Clyde's going to speak on it, I think.
No, I just wanted to make sure we had a reasonable discussion on it. We did meet October, time would be Michael. Last October when we looked at this originally, and then we've had some additional work done at the back of the
Quiet, please.
at the back of the properties on Ryton Road. But this, I've been trying to have a look at this. It's always difficult when the plans are split in two because you sort of like playing catch up. We appear to have some problems with the some of the pipe work, and I'm not quite sure where we. And I have great difficulty in understanding that last sentence. However, the holding water in the surface water system would have little or no effect on the saturated ground conditions of the recreation ground, and resolving this would not resolve the problems that occur with holding water on the field. I'm totally... Have you got... Can you explain that, Michael, in layman's terms?
The drainage are the reasons why the water in the drains is because they're not totally level.
Right. Yeah, because you get a bit of a settlement, don't you?
But they don't believe the drains themselves are the problem.
Right.
Getting the water to the drains.
It's getting the water to the drains, but there's no sort of prompt as to how we can do that, is there? It's told us where we are, but then we've got a decision to make as to how we...
I think essentially it's told us
How
the
is it?
drains aren't collapsed.
Right, so they're intact in one respect, but it's how we get the water to them from where that holding water, and the holding water, is that in the centre of the... Somebody refresh my memory on this, is it in the centre of the pitch where we're getting holding water, is it above?
It's percentage between manhole 2 and 4.
Let me have a look.
Sorry,
I'm just trying to put...
Manhole 1, 3, right?
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not over... I feel like complaining to Graham Kay about this, but...
It doesn't actually say, so the other larger pipes between manhole 2 and 4 were found to be holding water. So between 2 and 4, which is...
Yeah. Is that manhole 2? Oh, you've got a full... No, you're cheating, you've got a full plan.
We gave
Yeah.
So which one are we replacing? Is it that? Right, so we've replaced that with a new lid.
If the drain between 2 and 4 is holding water, that implies to me that it's not on a slope, which means the water's sitting in the pipes. Whether that would affect the soil above or not, I don't know. But it shouldn't be holding water anyway, so that pipe, I would argue, is probably, the pipe work is probably flawed.
Can I just make another comment on this? I know we've not set any money aside for next year for doing any of this work. I think we've just sort of like been skating around the edge of it. I'm just looking at where the system is in relation to the skate park on that second thing. I know, again, Miles has gone. I just wonder, until we've maybe got a plan for that skate park and how that water's run off there, because it's going to be an impermeable surface, so it's got to run somewhere. And we're better off just sitting on this for the time being. I know we should not going any further forward, but if we get a skate park and they say we need water to run to wherever, it's pointless us preempting it and doing some work and then we've got to do something. You see what I mean? To catch water off the skate park, it might be better to have a look at the plans, because hopefully they'll show where water's going to drain to. We need to relate that then to what we've got here, because it's pointless of spending a few £10 and then water's just disappearing somewhere else and we're not picking it up. So I mean, that's only a suggestion as to, we've got this now. I think what we could do with Mark, there's a set of those, you've got full plans, so we can read it all together, because it's difficult going backwards and forwards like that. It doesn't make sense. If we could have that, and then when we have that meeting on the 16th, if we can get some more information from Miles as a group as to what's being considered, and then look at that in relation to this, because we might be able to get some money for as part of the bid. If it's part of the construction, that might be built into it. So
Judy,
I don't think we're in a rush now. We've got this to be true.
I think the idea of bringing the plans to I can't tell you exactly off the top of my head, but I do know that the runoff of water has been considered in the skate park design. There is a design. They will be able to bring that to that one.
Clive's on about making sure it ties in with this.
Yes, absolutely.
I think we should do that.
Right. So, I mean, that's just a proposal that
Steve,
we went to receive.
I agree with that, but I find it strange that they've not made any recommendations.
Well, I mean, I'm a bit disappointed, because I thought they might sort of, but having said that, we only asked them for a CCTV survey, which is what we've got. So we perhaps need to consider that maybe a bit more as to what we do with the rest of the welfare grounds itself, and before we rush into anything.
I would agree that they've done what we asked. I have to say that it would have been helpful if is Carl a chap man?
Yeah.
When I was working, if my fields were blocked, as they were, I would actually meet the contractor or the grounds maintenance people on site. But I take Steve's point to a certain extent, but it does suggest that 225mm pipe to manhole 2, section 2, it says it could be due to backfill, and this could only be resolved by relaying all the pipe work. Now, I think they're aware of how much that will cost. So, we've got it here. We need to consider it when the skate park takes a bit further, another step forward, and at some point the council thinks, right, well, it's a real problem. We have to get an estimate for doing this.
Well,
Steve.
Well, I was thinking we've got that as part of the skate park project. We may be an idea to get a land drainage firm in to just look and see what their recommendations might be. Show them this report and see what they.
We've actually got two reports now, haven't we? We've got the one that we had last year from Borough Council that they did on the manholes and things like that, and how well they were working or not, if they were collecting anything. And then we've got this, so I think we really need to put the two together, don't we, to try and make some sort of semblance of what we've got. We've got a little drain now in or a manhole for collecting the spring at the back there, that's running into the system, so hopefully that's sorted out, so we can move to the field and the problems there. But I think we need to read the two together, rather than looking at it independently, because it doesn't make sense as we do that. I think we need a full plan if Michael can get some run off that shows it, so we can look at it and relate it to the other one. That one again just presented to us, that was in A4 size like that, difficult to read, so I think we need to and if needs be, I mean, I'll try and get somebody out from the borough if we can.
We'll move all further discussion on this to that next meeting with the.
Yeah, okay. I think we'll look at it after that.
All in favour of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Right, we'll move on to item number number 18. To respond to previous questions relating to the joint access deed and approve the draft document. You've had the reply, you've got it in the thing. It's merely a drafting error. I have corrected this on the attached second draft.
Could I move, Chair? I really do want to see this resolved. I take the point at the bottom of the paper, the submissions regarding drainage onto the Cricket Club's land is of importance, and that can be discussed between them. But I really would like to see us expedite this. It's gone on for a long time.
Can I come in, Chair?
Yeah.
Right. This is just for interest. This is a joint agreement between the council and the cricket club, which is regarding the bottom entrance. And basically, we're saying that both parties agree to have joint access. I've got one or two questions, if I can. I've declared an interest on this already, which I have to do by code of conduct. Right. The first question is on the letter that. Who's it wrote it? Mr. Platts has written, on the bottom of the first page, just for clarity, it says, another matter that greatly concerns the cricket club is that Parish Councillor Council Thornton has indicated to Anston Recreation Ground, the charity, that he has a right of way from Wrighton Road to the fields beyond the allotments that he and another own. Having looked at the documentation available to me, I do not believe that such a right exists. As far as I'm aware, the charity has not resolved this issue. There may be implications for this agreement that needs to be understood. Just for clarity and openness and honesty, in the past I have had a disagreement with the parish council, as it were then, and the charity and the cricket club in relation to my right of way. Mr. Platts is fully aware that I have a right of way and it's a legal right of way. Now, if Mr. Platts is arguing that I haven't got a right of way, I would suggest, and I can only suggest, to charity that you cannot move forward this agreement until that issue is sorted out. That's a decision probably for this council. Can I just say something on some other points, general issues? In the email, they say, they indicate they haven't got money for legal fees. Can I just confirm that both parties will be paying for the legal fees for this particular draft? Because in the past, if we make legal arrangements, we say the people who live up and down Wrighton Road for access, they pay the legal fees. Now, obviously this is a joint venture between two parties in full agreement that, should we say, at nil cost. Therefore, I would expect that we pay half the legal fees and they pay half the legal fees. But in the letter is indicating they have no money. Are they paying their fees?
Chair, I take the point that Councillor Thornton has a claim right of way or claim right of access. I don't, that's fine. I don't think that's an issue here. Obviously, is it Alan Platts who's written that? He's expressing a view, but I don't think that would actually get in the way, because provided the road or the track is not being blocked, there is still the ability of any landowner beyond the cricket club to access their land. The second point is, I think we're all quite clear that when we entered into discussions, we would pay our own costs. So I don't think anything has changed. They may plead poverty, but that's their, they may do that, but they will pay their fees, we will pay ours.
Yeah. Well, again, I agree with what Councillor St John has said for a change on the issue of fees. It's just that in the letter they do make an issue that they have no money, so that needs to be clarified, I think.
But
also, sorry,
absolutely essential. They're hedging their bets.
Right.
It is absolutely essential.
Well, I believe they're indicating they haven't got money, and as you did say quite correctly, I think they are pleading poverty. So we need to sort out I would suggest in writing that they are going to pay their half of the fees. Can I just go on to the other one? The other part in the letter refers to, I think it's maintenance. I can't remember where I've seen it now. They're also pleading poverty that they haven't any money for maintenance. And again, I think that should be firmly established that if we're going to sign a joint agreement, that they fully agree to carry out maintenance which each party equally pays. Because again, if they've no money, we could end up getting stuck for all the maintenance. And again, I believe that needs to be clarified in writing before we sign this contract. I have no problem with the contract in principle because it's a mutual agreement to benefit both parties. But it needs tightening up to make sure we're not going to have to revisit this. This is the second time we've had to revisit this from 1999. So we need it tightening up so we don't have to revisit again in another 2, 3, 5, 10 years.
What was that one again, Mark? 3.
So it says in there they will have to pay half a maintenance. Yes? Well, it isn't, well, my question then is a fair and reasonable portion, would you say that's half?
I like it.
Well, I mean,
Can I just make a point, Chair? He states in that they don't have the same resources, the same funding levels as Anston Recreation Ground. Well, the charity doesn't have funds. The charity relies on the parish council for its funds. So it ultimately works its way back, and now it's not a bottomless pit at the end of the day. We fully account for everything that we have at the year end. And there's one other item which I'm not quite sure about this, and I'm not splitting hairs. It just says that we do have a good relationship with them all. It says the cricket club helped the recreation ground out by providing changing facilities for football teams. They actually provide those at a charge. They're not free to them. I think they pay something like £30 for the use of the changing rooms or showers, and I think they owe 35 use them on a Saturday afternoon. So it's good business from their point of view, and like I say,
And is your thing banging, I can...
it's his heart. It's slowed down. Defibrillator. So as I say, we've got to work together. But again, the recreation ground is reliant on the parish council putting the funding through to it. So
No.
Subject to that, can we agree to sign these, Chair?
What about them?
Yeah.
What about
All
them?
any comments?
Well, sorry, hang on a minute, Clive. It does say in here quite clearly, and it's the devil. I know legal things are written for, if you like, to baffle the general public. But it does quite clearly say that, repair and maintenance, the first owner must pay to the second owner a fair and reasonable proportion of the costs of maintenance. And then a bit later on it said the second owner must pay to the first owner a fair and reasonable. So it's covered.
Yeah. Covered both ways, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can I just raise... can we just go back to the agenda? We've got to discuss response to previous questions relating to the joint access deed and approved draft document. So have those been covered, because we did send them a list of items, didn't we?
Yeah.
To that. So items 1, 2 and 3 on. Right. So that's item 18. Then item 19 is to approve and sign the lease. So do we? I mean, there's somewhere on that I picked up. Right. So we're doing 18 first. That's to. Right. Approve the draft document. So we're doing 18 first. Right, okay.
So who wants to...
Could I move that then, Chair?
Was 18. To discuss response to previous questions relating to the joint access deed.
And approve the draft document, which is answer the questions that we asked.
So that's 18. So are we voting on that then?
Yeah. All those in favour of accepting it? Yeah. What's that?
So then it's 19 we go to, which is to approve.
We've got to approve 18, we've got to approve the draft document.
Yeah, we'll approve the draft document.
It's two parts.
Yeah, got, I think, Ian, did you propose that we accept that?
Sorry, Chair, the thing which is stamped all over draft, the next one isn't. My understanding is we've accepted the draft.
Yeah, we only accepted the draft.
Yeah.
With these alterations.
Yes, and then the next thing is.
So we've got to vote for that.
Is on 19.
We've got to accept the draft.
Yes.
Can we just make it clear? We're voting now to accept the draft copy for the bottom entrance, which will then come back to council, come back to charity for full approval.
Yeah. And those three details that we were worried about.
I'm just trying to clarify.
So, everybody in favour?
Can I do just one item?
Propose, Ian, second Steve.
Can I just break one out? Just found it on the chair, on the draft one, it's 1.4. It says lie to the east of Brighton Road, Northampton.
Yeah, that's it.
Hampton Deck or Hampton. It should be. Do you see what it is, Mark? We just spelled.
Yeah.
Just for accuracy.
Right. So
Which
we've
they have to spell
we've got
draft.
proposal and second. Can we
D-U-G-H-T.
accept that, please?
Yep.
All those in favour, please show. 19. To approve and sign the lease of land to Hampton Cricket Club. Which is the
Correspondence.
yeah. And there were some questions which he's answered on that letter, as you've got it in your pack, page 1 of 1.
So we've got one email coming on the 27th,
Yeah.
which
And the letter,
regards the Charity Commission guidance.
Right, can I just come in?
yeah,
Right, this is, just to make sure we all know what we're talking about, this is the piece of land down at the bottom of the cricket ground that was leased in 1999, which was actually charity land and we wasn't allowed to do it. Is that correct?
that's the charity land, isn't it?
Right, right. I'd like to ask a question, and I think this is quite a serious question. If I can just slightly digress, one of the reasons why we charge the football teams a fee to play on the recreation ground is because the whole of the recreation ground is open to the inhabitants of Anston as a recreation/play area.
Yeah.
When the football team play on that land, in effect, they are barring people from using that particular piece of land for the duration of, say, the football match. And that's why we have to charge a fee, is because they are restricting access. Now, I would argue quite strongly that if we agree this lease to the piece of land at the bottom of the cricket club, that piece of land will in effect be unable to be used by members of the public. I don't think the cricket club would like it if people were to walk across the cricket ground to access that charity land. And because of that, what's actually happening in effect is a disposal of land, because we're giving sole use to the cricket club. Now, I would argue, if we have to charge the football pitch, the football teams to play on one area, we cannot have a situation where another sports group is allowed to take land and use that land solely for their purpose without a charge. So I believe that the cricket club should have to pay a charge consummate to what the football teams pay for their use. And I think we need to discuss that quite seriously.
Right.
I think, well, I was clearly, in 1999, the parish council made a decision, may subsequently have been thought to have been illegal, but at the time it was considered to be legal and correct and within municipal local law. And we were charging them £1 a year. The land is still ours, whether we're called the charity or Anston Parish Council. And I have no problem in, if you like, reformulating this so that the lease is rewritten and agreed. The strip of land is minute, but it's obviously important to the cricket club. And I think in the interests of fairness, we should just get this signed and get it disposed of.
Can I just come back in again, Chair? Well, I disagree with the comment that this land is minute. It's quite an extensive piece of land. The point I'm trying to make is... Right, the point I'm trying to make is this. If we allow the cricket club to use that land, say for £1 or free of charge, then we also have to be utterly and equally fair to all the football teams. Anybody who wants to hire the recreation ground gets it at the same price. We cannot charge one club one price and another club another price. And that's why I strongly recommend that we need to discuss some form of charging policy.
true.
Chair, we're,
Yeah.
we're within our rights to make a decision as a council. I just don't
Neutrality.
accept that particular argument at all.
Yeah. The thing is that we maintain and have to pay for the maintenance of the land here.
The football
For the football field,
Yeah.
therefore we've got to try and offset that cost by charging them. We don't pay for any maintenance of that bit at the back of the green field.
There was a time when we did.
I think that's discussed this week, Chair.
And the thing is that they weren't. They got promotion to the Premier Division and were only allowed to play in the Premier Division if, from the centre of the wicket to the boundary, there was a certain distance. And that was the first reason that they took over this bit of land, to make sure that they could go up into the Premier Division, which I think we should be very pleased for them for.
But I go back to my point again, Chair, is if we allow, so you say, one sports club not to pay fees, then we have to, I think quite fairly, allow all the other sports clubs that use our facilities, they should also get free use. And if we sign this contract without charging the cricket club a fee, I will come to another meeting and I will propose that the football teams get their games free, because I think it's only fair.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, I didn't.
Could we move the vote, Chair?
No.
Looking where voices coming from.
I know.
Right. The proposal is made that we do it on £1 a year, same as we did before. Is that or whatever's in the lease? What's
Yeah.
in the lease?
Yep.
How much is in the
And
lease?
they're responsible for all their own maintenance.
Yes, of course they are.
What's the difference? No, it isn't. What's the difference? I don't understand.
Can I just make a point? There's just another item when I read through the lease. The word "sole" is missing. I think that should be inserted in first page 1. It says Anston Parish Council, the Parish Hall, Wrighton Road, North Anston, Sheffield, blah blah blah, as the sole trustee, because that's what's on the. Oh right. Did we? Oh sorry, I do apologise. I was just when I read through it, I could see that was missing as to whether we needed that in for.
The £1 here it is on 2.1 in the original one. Clive. Sorry, Stuart.
Yeah, can I just clarify, can we go to, on this particular kind of lease, the actual, I think it's the original lease, can I just clarify 5.1? The landlord may at the end of this lease has to fulfill or specify part of the property by giving the tenant notice of capital repairs. A notice in this code must be in writing, identify the property to which it relates, should be exactly there, be given at least 3 months notice. Is that a clause that we can terminate this contract any time we wish in 3 months, with 3 months notice?
Sorry, Richard.
5.1.
Yeah, that would appear to be so.
Is that in the?
Is there a reciprocal release clause for them? What notice do they have to give? I think the answer is I don't think it is.
No, I don't think so, but
I don't know if it's necessary, I'm just asking the question.
I can't see that it's necessary to get to say that we.
The contract, okay.
Yeah, and they obviously don't want you to.
Can I just come back to the issue, because can I just come back to the,
I think it's... Just bear with me 1 second. Right. Yeah, sorry, I do apologise. I was going to bring another point up, and one of the questions we asked whether this has to be advertised or not. Well, on the previous contract we agreed, the surveyor indicated quite clearly that we didn't need to advertise this to the general public, which is something we have to ask the surveyor to make a recommendation. The surveyor recommended we don't do that for the bottom entrance. We haven't had such an undertaking for this particular disposal of land, because that's what it's classed as, a disposal. Can I just bring the issue up? And I think again we need to go back to the solicitors on this, because under the Charities Act 2011, restrictions on disposal of land, additional, I can't read my own writing, I think it's these structures where land has been, sorry, I can't read my own writing, right. Basically what it's saying is, if land is specifically designated for a purpose, which the land of the recreation ground is, then there has to be additional resources that we have to follow. And one of them is, again, we have to consider whether it has to go out for public notice. Now,
I don't think we're disposing of anything, are we?
no, right. Right. Well, that's, was this, is that surveyor, was that for both pieces of land or just one piece of land where he's recommended that we don't go out?
Surveys, yeah.
Right. Right. Well, I'm not a legal expert, but having read the Charities Act, I would say I wish to challenge that, because it says we have additional responsibilities, that's the word I've missed, additional responsibilities where land is held for stipulated purposes. So I think, because our land is held for stipulated purposes, I don't believe we have any option, according to the Charities Act, that we have to advertise it. Could we have a clarification before we sign this?
Chair, I really do object to that, because all this is doing is delaying what, by my view, should have happened some considerable time before. I understand individual points need to be corrected and so on, but the letter is quite specific. The surveyor, Kevin Benson, has stated that advertisement is not necessary. Please, can we get this lease signed and dealt with? On top of all this land was given to the public of Anston years ago for the benefit of the public of Anston. We have a cricket club and they are definitely benefiting from it.
No, it was given to the people, the inhabitants.
All right, right.
Sorry.
It says, would the intention to lease land be advertised as required under the Charity Commission guidelines? There's a specific question there, the solicitor asking that point. And in his letter he says, as to whether the intention to lease land needs to be advertised, that only needs to occur if the surveyor advises that it's necessary. And in the report for the Kevin Benson, he stated that not
necessary.
Yeah, well, I understand that. I mean, I have read them, otherwise I wouldn't be speaking about them. What I'm saying is, right, no, that was, right, I did ask the question last time, and it came back, that particular time we was talking about the land of the joint, no, let me get it right. When I asked the question about advertisements, at the particular time we was talking about the entranceway, the bottom entrance. Right, all I'm saying is, you're saying the surveyor says we don't have to do it, I'm saying the Charity Act 2011 says we do have to do it. If I'm correct what I'm saying, well, the law overrides the surveyor. It's something I think we need to sort out.
Chair, can I move formally that we sign this lease?
Yeah, can I have a seconder for that?
Yeah, can I second the chair?
Yeah. Recorded vote, yeah. Yeah, chair and vice chair to sign. Right.
John, could I just be old for you to explain?
No, you're a member of the public, you're not allowed to
Do
speak.
you want me to explain to you?
You're not allowed to speak. Excuse me, you're not allowed to speak.
You can, really. Yeah, just if it's to help.
Well, that means everybody's allowed to speak.
If it's,
Members agree to it.
do you agree to let Kevin speak, give us some help on
If
this?
it's going to be
It's just
helpful.
an experience of ground, that's all.
Yeah,
I don't think Council Thornton realises that a lot of land drains that run for football pitch actually run right down through the cricket pitch. And by causing this sort of friction between these two groups could create a bigger problem, the water problem that you've already got.
Can I just say, I'm aware that the drainage does go down, and I've been aware of that quite some time. The point I'm trying to make here is, we're signing contracts which are legal documents. The contract we're signing now was signed in 1999, and it was done incorrectly. That's why we're having to redo it now, and we're having to spend extra money.
I'm not interested in what you're signing, so I'm just explaining to you.
Yeah, but I just made it clear.
right, thanks
Yeah.
for that.
The point is, we have to get it right. We have to get it right, otherwise we'll be back in 5 years again.
We've got a proposal, we've got a seconder.
Abstain.
4.
Councillor Brimsley,
4.
Councillor Dalton, Councillor Ireland, Councillor Jarvis,
Abstain.
Councillor Jepson,
Abstain.
Councillor Findon,
4.
Councillor Thornton.
I'm against it because I believe it needs to be advertised by law.
Right, so we're just on it.
For a drainage report, it doesn't say absolutely.
Most of the time we say that people going round and
We should bring back that meeting, we're going to have a debate about things, kind of close together. Flexible. Yeah, just pointing it. I agree. Right, we could move on now to, there's nothing to present public, is there? Present public, nothing. To discuss any item for its present public, nothing. Date and time of next meeting, Wednesday, April the 8th at 7:30. 7 o'clock, sorry. Wednesday the 8th of April, 7 o'clock. Thank you very much for your attendance.